Hey guys, sorry for all of this. It's probably like almost midnight, but I had a long day. I had surgery again on March 21st, which was exactly 7 days ago today. I had it in Tijuana, Mexico with Mexico Bariatric Center. My doctor was Dr. Gutierrez. The whole experience was wonderful. I don't even know if I was so out of it when I was in the hotel and I did my video. I don't even know if I gave a really good representation of how wonderful it really was. I didn't have any complaints about the place at all. I think the only complaint that I had was when I was at the hotel at like 6 o'clock in the, well, no, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. The first night I was there, I was supposed to get up for surgery at 8, and I woke up at 4. There was somebody banging in the room next door, and that was it. Nothing that they could have controlled, just some asshole banging on the door. I so far have lost, I was 265 when I got home, so I gained 5 pounds in water weight, which to be honest, I really didn't gain any water weight because when I got there I was 265. So maybe that was from flying, I don't know. But the very next day I was 259, and now I'm at 253.8 as of today. I'll go back and start and talk about my experience there. I got there at like 10 something that morning after I got off the plane. I called my driver. It took me maybe 10-20 feet to get out of the airport where they dropped me off at. So I walked out, looked where he was talking about. I walked another 30 feet. I was right at the place where he needed me to be. He wasn't right there whenever I got there, but apparently he had just picked another couple up, some friends of mine from Mexico Bariatric Center support page on Facebook. So it was nice to be able to meet them. Sorry, I thought I had a chip in my tooth, but I don't. Sorry. Anyway, got in the car. We ended up having to go back. We were headed towards the border, and we had to go back and pick another person up because she was running late. And but yeah, all 3 of these people were people that I had been talking to on Facebook on our Mexico Bariatric Center page. So it was really nice to be able to meet them and put their faces with their names, and it was really cool. So we crossed the border, no trouble at all. The border agent just waved us on past. We were a van full of people, which was surprising that they didn't stop us. Because the driver even said sometimes they would inspect before you go in if there's a lot of people. His name is Victor. Sorry.
Right now, including the full.
Sorry, my show paused. Victor was the driver that I had. He was amazing. He was so sweet. He gave us all kinds of tips about what to expect when we left, what was going to happen that day. He drove us to the hospital first. Normally they take you to the hotel, but we were running a little bit late because the last girl that we picked up, we weren't able to find her, so we had to wait for a while. So we went to the hospital to do our blood work. We were there for about 2 hours, give or take. Once the last person got their blood work done, a driver showed up to pick us up. A couple of people had been given their surgery times, but I wasn't. I was just told that they would tell me at the hotel what time they would pick me up. I was kind of afraid because I had seen on the page that sometimes they will reschedule you if there's a complication or something that causes them to have to push you back. And so I was really nervous because I didn't have the money for another airplane ticket. I didn't have money for another night in the hotel, and I didn't want to have to turn around and cancel my surgery. So this is stuff that other people are saying. It's not coming from Mexico Bariatric Center. It's not a complaint online. It's just something that is said on their Facebook page. And it was a couple weeks ago. And I didn't know what the situation was. Well, they operate, the hospital is Me Doctor Hospital, or My Doctor Hospital. It's very clean. It's small. It's 4 floors, but it's the size of a small house, each floor. They're not very big. I believe each of the 3 top floors have an operating room in them. Everything is so nice. I mean, it's not like America nice, but it's overdone in America, I think. We don't need crown molding in a hospital room for it to be a good hospital. We don't need air conditioners in every room, even though this place did have air conditioners. the rooms were very nice. The bathrooms were clean. They were small, but everybody had what they needed. So anyway, we did our blood work. Driver showed up to take us back to the hotel. We waited for our rooms for about 20 or 30 minutes. When we walked in, there's a gentleman named Jesus, and he is the coordinator for the patients that are coming into the hotel, going to the hospital, and back and forth. He coordinates with the drivers and makes sure that there's someone to take you wherever you need to go, so you're not just walking around. And he had hot chicken broth from the restaurant next door and Jello, sugar-free Jello for us. And he made sure that he just kept them coming because we were all on our liquid diet at that point. We'd been traveling all day. We were starving. It was just wonderful. He made sure we were happy and healthy and confident in the company. And I mean, he was just constantly, do you need something to drink? Do you want more chicken broth? Do you want more Jello? I tipped him quite a bit, and I suggest taking about $150 to make sure that you tip people. Even if you just take $100, tip the drivers and Jesus very well, because they go above and beyond and they make very little money. The nurses, they don't make a lot either. I did tip each nurse $5 at the end of each shift. There was a couple I didn't get to because I was just so out of it after surgery. And there was only one that I didn't tip because she was a little rude, but she was a nice rude. It was like she was saying stuff that was really rude in a nice way, and I thought maybe it was just a cultural thing, but she was rude, so I just didn't tip her. But that is neither here nor there. Anyway, so after we got our room keys, I went upstairs. I ended up getting 2 beds in my room, even though I was by myself. It was very, very nice. I had a full kitchen in it, had dishes, had pots and pans, cups, spoons, knives, forks, had a mini fridge, like a apartment size mini fridge, not like a tiny mini fridge. It was a good size. Microwave, cooktop, and then the bathroom, it was just a standard bathroom. They had toothbrushes, toothpaste. Most of the hotels I go to, you just get shampoo and soap. This place, they decked it out. You do have to get your own, like if you want washcloths or something, you have to pay for them. So I would suggest taking a couple of them with you. But it wasn't a problem. I took myself a towel, but I didn't even end up using it. So I meant to take it for the hospital, but I ended up not even taking a shower at the hospital because we weren't there for long enough, and I didn't want to take a shower with my drain tube in. So anyway, went to the hotel, got a good night's sleep. Oh, sorry. As soon as we got to the hotel and got in our rooms, my group that I knew from Facebook, we all decided to walk down the street to this restaurant called Sanborn's, and they have some amazing chicken broth there. They don't speak English, so make sure that you can let them know that you want chicken broth, and just plain chicken broth. They have other soups too, but it has a lot of stuff in it, and it might mess up your liquid diet, so just be careful with that. They put lime in it, and they give you extra lime with it. I would suggest squirting some extra lime in it because it makes it amazing. I would probably drink that today like a tea. I mean, it's good. It's legit. We did a little bit of shopping in that store that is inside of Sanborn's is actually inside a store, but we did a little shopping in there, and then we walked back to the hotel, and we went to bed for the night, or went to our rooms for the night. The view was beautiful. You could see the mountains. There's 2 big, beautiful mountains, like at the very end of the street where my room was facing, and it was just gorgeous. At night, all the houses are lit up on the mountains. It's awesome. So the next morning, I got up at 4 a.m. because we had a knocker. Got up and watched some TV and made sure my bags were packed because you check out when you have surgery. I went downstairs probably about 9:15. I was supposed to be downstairs at 9:30. Sat there and crocheted a little bit. Checked out of my room. The driver, Lewis, picked us up. He was very nice, very, very fast. I accidentally forgot to tip him, and I feel horrible about it. Maybe if I ever go back, I'll find him and I'll give him some money. But he was very nice. He made sure we didn't have to pick. He got upset. Don't pick anything up. Don't get out of the van. I'll open the door for you. Super protective over us, making sure we didn't get hurt. Took our bags with us. We went into the hospital. I ended up getting there at 10 o'clock, maybe, if that. And I had to sit there until like 5 o'clock at night because I was the last one scheduled for surgery that day. Everybody was acting like I should be upset about it, but I was in Mexico. Where was I going to just walk home? I mean, my flight wasn't for another 5 days or 4 days. So I just sat there and crocheted. I finished my blanket and they did my surgery. When I got out of surgery, they asked me to get off of the surgical bed and move to your bed after you get out of recovery. I had a little nausea then, but I didn't actually throw up. My roommate, she was, I felt so bad for her. She threw up the entire time we were at the hospital. She had never had anesthesia before, and I think that's why she was so sick. But I just felt nausea just like 2 or 3 times, and it passed. Super easy recovery for me. I just felt like I had done too many sit-ups. It wasn't until I got home that my incisions started to get sore. But I mean, they look good. I've had some oozing from the largest one where they pulled my stomach through. But that's normal. Everything I'm looking up, it's not hot to the touch. The inflammation has gone down on it. It's clean. So I'm not worried about it. And so you stay in the hospital for 2 nights. The second night, they moved us downstairs to the first floor, which has its own little private suite almost, I think. It doesn't have a full bath in it, so we didn't get to take a shower, which, like I said, I didn't really care about that at that point. I just wanted to lay in bed and sleep because I was tired. And I was worried about my roommate, so I was wanting to make sure that when I was up, I was watching her. The nurses were very attentive, but because we were on the first floor, there's no nurses stationed there, so I wanted to make sure I could get upstairs and get her help if she needed it. At first, they did have someone down there with us 24/7, not 24/7, but every hour. But there was a big storm there that night, and a lot of nurses called in, and since we weren't that bad, or they didn't consider us that bad, they just said, hey, look, if you need us, we'll have someone come down and check on you regularly, but if you need us, we're on this floor. There are nurses on every floor. There just weren't that many that night. So I did have to end up going and getting my nurse once, and it was the nurse I ended up not tipping. She wasn't that great, but that is not Mexico Bariatric Center's fault. Carla, the coordinator at the hospital, she was great. She was very nice, very talkative, and she didn't talk to us like patients. She talked to us like just regular people. It wasn't like, oh, how are you feeling? She was very sweet. So, sorry. There are other doctors that you'll see besides your doctor if you go there, and sorry, I may split this into 2 videos so it's not so long. But there are other doctors that you may see there. My doctor, I didn't see him again after the surgery. I think he might have just come in and said everything went really well. And then after that, he was done. And then I had Dr. Martin. She's so sweet. She's always there at the hospital. Like, I feel bad. I feel like she never gets to go home. But that second night, we slept there. We went home the very next day at not home, but we went back to the hotel the very next day at 7:30, 8 o'clock. We didn't get to go to our rooms for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Sorry, I have to keep drinking water. Anyway, so we didn't go back to the rooms for about 2 or 3 hours 1.5 to 2 hours, because it takes a while. They have a constant flow of people coming in and going. A lot of people have a problem with this, but you're sitting in a comfortable room. You have painkillers that are coming your way. You still have medicine in your system. You still have your antibiotics in your system from your IVs. Jesus is there, and you're on the clear liquid diet at that point. So you can have chicken broth, which he will gladly give you, or Jell-O, all you want. And he's still just as sweet then as he was the first day. And then we stay there that night. I think I went in and took a little nap. And then Jesus called me and said, hey, they're going to be doing a tour of the city later on tonight. Art was another really great driver. I think he was the one that took me to the hospital, not Lewis. Sorry, Lewis took us to do something else. I don't remember what he did, but Art ended up taking us on a tour, and he's the one on the last video I mentioned about the taco broth. We guilt tripped him he took us to some really cute little shops, and I got a couple cute little things, and some people spent like $400, but I don't have that kind of money. But yeah, he took us. We were about to go back to the hotel, and I was like, I don't think he's gonna take us, guys, because we've been asking him the whole time, and it was getting late, and I knew he wanted to go home, but because he doesn't live in America, he doesn't live in Tijuana. He lives in America. He lives in San Diego, so I knew it was going to be a while for him to go home, but I really wanted that taco broth because, I mean, I can't have anything but just clear liquids right now, and this sounded really good. So he took us, and it's just if you go past the hotel, and I'm telling you how to get there because I don't want to make him have to go take people there. You go past the hotel, going away from Sanborn's. If you go, you'll know. Make the first right on the first road you see after the hotel, and you go down probably a good mile to a half mile, I believe. And there's a place called Tacos Los Perones, and it is amazing. You ask them, it's brisket broth is what it is. They don't call it taco broth. I think the people that had it called it taco broth because they use it to make brisket tacos. And that stuff's just the drippings off of it made into a broth. They charge $2 a cup. It is so freaking good. If I ever go back to Tijuana, I don't even care if I'm on a broth diet anymore at that point. I will drink that stuff because it's like drinking a brisket. It is, I can't describe how amazing it was. I don't even know if I'll ever be able to make it, but it's awesome. It does upset your stomach a little bit because there's a lot of fat in it. There's not that much because I put it in the fridge overnight and it didn't congeal like normal fat does in broth, but it's heavy. So drink it very slow, and if you need to, water it down. Okay, so I don't want this video to be too much longer, but I came home that next morning after our tour. The flight was really long because of the time change, so it seems like it took forever, and there were screaming kids. So by the time I got off of the airplane, I was so tired. I would suggest reserving a wheelchair. San Diego airport's really busy, so if you don't get there early enough, you're not going to be able to get the wheelchair. Mainly because it just takes, the lines are so long. If you're coming, like I was coming into Houston. Houston's not busy at all. Not nearly as busy as San Diego. So, I would suggest either reserving a wheelchair or taking a small suitcase. You don't need a big suitcase at all. You won't need half the stuff people say, like the wipes. I don't even think I used the wipes, honestly. I didn't use 90% of the stuff in my bag. You just need 3 or 4 days worth of clothes. They need to be light clothes. I took a pair of jeans for traveling in, but if they're too high cut, you're not going to be able to wear them because they're going to be on your incisions. It'll make you uncomfortable. So just wear some tights. I mean, if you're worried about people seeing fat, or if you don't think you look good in them, don't worry about how you look. You're having surgery. I mean, people can say what they want. They are. I mean, it's not like they're not going to know that you're not heavy already, because you can't hide that. But pack light because it makes it easier on the drivers. It makes it easier on you coming home. My bag was really heavy. I ended up throwing away a lot of the stuff that I had left over because I didn't want to have to carry it home. You're not going to feel like it. So either do that or bring a roll-on, like a carry-on sized rolling suitcase or a rolling anything. And they did let me through security with my Bactine. It's like a 5-ounce bottle. You just have to let them know I just had surgery on my stomach in Mexico, and I have to make sure I keep it clean, and that's what I use to disinfect it. They will hold you up. They will test it. If you don't want to deal with it, don't bring it. Get you some little wipes or something like they have. I'm sure they have like Bactine wipes or something. Or get you a little tube of Neosporin or something just for the trip. Okay. So I got home. My family picked me up, and I basically just went to sleep. I knew I'd been sitting on the airplane for hours, and I knew that I needed to walk because you can get blood clots if you don't walk enough. And it also helps you to heal. But I was so tired, I just went to sleep for a few hours. I got up, I had some liquid, I was good, went to sleep the next day. My husband wanted to look at cars, so I spent like 6 hours in a car dealership. I would not suggest doing this, even though you're just sitting, because it wears you out. I was so tired. When you get sleepy, take a nap. Your body is healing. You need to make sure you do that. So I think on Saturday afternoon, I decided to try a protein shake. So I got a Premier Protein shake. I took a few sips of it. Again, you're taking very small sips, so it's not a lot. I set my alarm for 30 minutes, and I thought, okay, if it doesn't make me sick, I'm going to drink more. I emailed my nutritionist just to make sure she was okay with it, because she told us if we feel like we're not getting enough from the liquid diet, to go ahead and try to move on to the full liquids. So I did that. And I did a day and a half of full liquids. And the stage 2 is pureed foods as well. So I also made a ricotta bake. And tonight I made a kind of a ricotta enchilada bake, because I needed something different than the ricotta so I don't burn myself out on it. The ricotta bake, I'm going to tell you really quick because it's a long video today. I'm sorry. The ricotta bake, you do 8 ounces of ricotta cheese. You do a half cup of Parmesan, half cup of mozzarella, 2 egg yolks from a large egg, and you do a scoop of unflavored protein powder. Make sure it's the kind that you're supposed to have after your surgery. So you mix all of that together, put it in a greased, I forgot to grease my pan. Dang it. Sorry, I just remembered something. So you put it in a greased pan, and then after you do that, you put like a cup, a half cup to a cup of, I would say probably a cup of very low carb spaghetti sauce. Rayo's is really good. It's got 3 grams of carbs, no sugar, or no added sugar. And it's amazing. It tastes really good. I think it's like 80 calories for a serving of a half cup. And I got like 9 or 10 servings out of this pan that I made of 2 ounces each. So that's not bad. It's not even close to 80 calories for that sauce when you think of it. Anyway, so then I baked it in the oven at 450 for 20 minutes and sprinkled, when it was done, I sprinkled like maybe a quarter cup of mozzarella on top. You don't want to put cheese on top normally because it's going to get crispy, and you don't need any crispies in your pureed diet. It'll make you sick. It'll hurt your stomach. So I went ahead and let that cool and divvied it up. It was great. If you do eat it first, make sure you eat it very slow. Use a baby spoon and chew so many times. For the enchiladas, I had pre-made chicken that I had made the other day in the slow cooker, so it was already really soft. It was going to go bad in the next couple days, so I wanted to make sure that my family, because they weren't going to eat it, I didn't want it to go to waste. I pureed that with a half can of Rotel. I had some Greek yogurt, like a dip, and it's called, I don't know the brand, I think Kraft makes it, but it's chili lime dip, and it's made with Greek yogurt. I used about, I want to say 2 tablespoons of that stuff. So I went ahead and dumped that in, used a little bit of chicken broth that was left over from my slow cooker chicken, and I pureed the heck out of that stuff to make sure it was super soft. It's a little gritty feeling in my mouth, but I don't think that that's gonna hurt anything. I just think I'm gonna have to chew really well. So I did the same ricotta mix that I made for the ricotta bake for the base, and I sprinkled a little bit of the Mrs. Dash jalapeno seasoning in it. It's a little spicy, but it's not enough to really affect it. I just wanted to give it a little flavor. I'm afraid to try anything too spicy right now because it's my new stomach. I don't want to upset it. Now the chicken was pretty spicy, so it made a lot. I didn't even use maybe 3 or 4 ounces of chicken. And this, remember, is going to make about 10 to 15 servings of food. And so I did a very thin layer, maybe a quarter cup of the chicken mix on top of the ricotta bake. And then I made a gravy. I have guar gum. Guar gum is a thickening agent. It's very healthy for you. There's no flour needed. I took a little bit of the broth from my chicken, my slow cooker chicken. Sounds like I'm saying slow cooker chicken. Slow cooker chicken. And some chicken broth. And it was probably about 13 ounces of fluid altogether. I took about a teaspoon of guar gum, put it into like a little blender cup, blended that up, put in a little bit of taco seasoning and about 2 teaspoons of Greek yogurt, just to give it a little bit of creaminess. Blended that up again really well. It's very thick. If it's not thick enough, shake it up. It'll thicken up in time. Pour it over the chicken. I only used probably a 1/4 cup of that, if that. And then I put the rest of it in a freezer, or in the freezer. Put that in the oven for another 20 minutes. Took it out, sprinkled a 1/4 cup of the mozzarella cheese on the top, and that's it. So those are 2 really quick pureed recipes. I would not recommend moving on to those until you're good with like the full liquids. I did the Premier Protein drinks. I also did some shrimp and lobster bisque that was pre-made soup. I did water that down and blend it up really well. Don't do anything chunky. Don't try to be brave. But I was good with all that. And I felt like I needed more, so I moved on to that stage. Just because I'm 7 days out and I'm doing it doesn't mean you should do it. But when you're ready for those foods, those recipes are going to be lifesavers for me. I have an event coming up this weekend, and I'm going to need some pureed foods for the road. So I'm kind of excited to have those because I can probably freeze them and just take them with me where I'm going, and then I'll have them for lunch. So I don't have to worry about having them go bad on the road. So I'm really excited and I'm happy. So that's pretty much it. I'm sorry this video is like 30 minutes long, but hopefully it'll help. I'm losing more weight every day and it's coming off really quick. I know that there's going to be a stall coming up pretty soon. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And if there's any tips you have for me, I would like to hear them as well. Thanks. Bye.